From the John DeVito Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another broadcast of Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network on Monday, May the 17th, the year 2021. So sit back and enjoy Paranormal Radio. And now, here is the Super King of Paranormal Radio, Mr. Bob Trzeciak.
Now I'm the Super King. What was I last month? The one and only king or something? I don't know. Every week I get every month I should say I get a different title. Thank you, John. Always a joy coming here to do these shows. Thank you for allowing me to do them. I'm excited about this show. Not that I'm not excited about all of them. I love doing them, all of them, but I'm glad we got a couple of nice folks tonight. I think you're going to enjoy talking to them. Tonight we have Mr. Zach Wenzel and Miss Emily Fuschon, and they are two folks that are with Blood Moon Paranormal. So we'll be talking with them in just a minute. But before I do that, I just got a couple of little things I want to announce that's going on here. First off, thanks to Mikey GST. That's how he likes to be known, Mikey. He came on last month and we did a Titanic show. Mikey's very much into the paranormal too and that, but we have a little common bond there that I found out about the Titanic. And lately that's how it's been with me. Just a lot of chance encounters with people and stuff like it was with yous two, just meeting yous at the cemetery. And we just kind of hit it off, and we talked about, you got to come and do a radio show. So we did a radio, and we could have talked for 2 hours easily on that. So I invited Mikey to come back and do another show whenever he would like to. I asked him if he wanted to come on tonight. But I said, tonight we won't be talking about Titanic. Tonight we'll be doing paranormal. But thank you to Mike for doing such a great job. 6/7, which will be next month. Tony Sabelski and Mr. Jack Blue, or Mr. Jack Chavez. He goes under a couple of different names. I think one is his stage name for his stage career. No, I don't know what he does. He goes by Jack Blue and he goes by Jack Chavez. I always know him as Jack Chavez, but just in case you're looking for anything on him, two guys that are really, really into the paranormal a lot and that, and great guys, and they'll be on next month on the 7th. Tony, I always like to call Tony the Tim Conway of this show because, I don't know if you're old enough to remember the Carol Burnett show when it was on TV, and Tim Conway would always be a guest star. And then finally, like the last 2 years of the show, Carol Burnett says, he's on like every week or something. Why don't we just make him a regular? He's on here all the time. And that's how it was with Tony. Tony, for a while, was always like on the show all the time here and that. He's very busy now. I know that, too. He does a lot of tours. He does a lot of other investigations and things. Him and Jack both and that. As a matter of fact, I'll be doing a couple of things coming up with Jack, too. Hopefully, if they fall through like they're supposed to. And then on June 19th, going to be doing a tour with the Irish Legends, something I've been working on with them. We actually had it set up for last year in May, and then, of course, thanks to the COVID, everything got canceled. But we're going to be doing, I call this one Headstones, History, and Haunts. And we'll be doing about a group of 20 people. We're going to haul them around to a lot of the cemeteries, Southside cemeteries and that. We got a couple of surprise stops and that we're going to take them to, and we'll do that. And that will be on the 19th of June. So if you're any information about that, the cost and what it is, and that you will be meeting at Irish Legends, which is over on Archer Road. But cost net, I don't know any of that stuff. So look up on the Irish Legends page, on their Facebook page, and all that will be on there. They'll have everything posted there. And then Mr. Neil Gibbons with Graveside Paranormal. He's got a birthday coming up. I'm going to just say that now because I won't be doing another show I'll be doing the show in June, but I'll say it now anyway. Happy birthday to Neil. He'll be the big 5-0 coming up in June. I think June 12th. He's having a big bash, a big party, and I'm gonna try to go there, but I've got another thing going on that day. So I'll see if I can maybe slip in and then slip out, and nobody will notice me there or not anyway. So, but anyway, I'll try to do that for Neil. So anyway, thanks to him, and then Mr. Stan Suho. Stan doesn't realize it or not, but I see Stan all the time. I do a little part-time job for McDonald's a couple of days a week, and Stan always pops by, I see him, and very much into the paranormal and that. And thanks for everything. Stan, I don't even think he realizes how much he contributes to the paranormal that just by talking to you and that. He's been in paranormal for a long, long time. And thank you to that. We like to acknowledge people where we can. And just so many people that make the paranormal industry what it is. Like I say, eventually down the line, I do see it coming into being a good, a scientific, a recognized science and a recognized thing. It's an art right now and that, and it's nice, but I'd like to see it be a little more serious, a little more licensed, maybe a little more regulated, where people take it a little more seriously. And with a lot of the good people, like the two folks we've got on here tonight, I think it's going to be heading in that direction. So with that, we're just going to start introducing from Blood Moon Paranormal. Oh, you got to go on their page, too. Oh, my gosh. They got stuff all over the place. They just had some kind of contest and stuff. and they have T-shirts and all kind of promo things that they sell and all that stuff. You got to look on the Blood Moon Paranormal. Blood Moon. Just every once in a while, don't we have a blood moon in the sky?
Yeah.
It's like a red moon that shows up. It's not often. It's like the blue moon. Like
very,
once in a blue moon.
Rare,
yeah, it's a rare thing.
Rare.
It's more pinkish when it does show up. The last time I saw it was more pinkish, but I can see where they would call it blood moon. But go up on their page and look at their YouTube videos and stuff. And they just did an interesting video at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery and that. And they're always doing something. Once a month, I think they said they like to get out and do that. So, well, enough of that. With that, I'm just going to introduce Zach.
Hello, I'm Zach. I'm the lead investigator of the Blood Moon crew.
And then his sidekick here, Miss Emily Fuschon.
Hello, my name is Emily, and I am the photographer for Blood Moon Paranormal.
Oh, you do the photography.
Yes,
oh, you're the cool person. See, I like the photos. Yeah, I like photos. Yeah, we got to talk. Oh, I got to talk. I'm probably talking to you more than I talk to this guy here.
Oh,
Wow.
No, I'm just. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, we'll even it out. We'll give everybody something. But I have two reasons for speaking to you. One is because of the photography thing. I'm very much interested in that, and also two, you are a Wiccan.
I am. Yes, I am.
You are a Wiccan. You practice witchcraft.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Depends on the date.
I
No,
get
I'm
ya.
just kidding. No, good witch.
Okay,
of course.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Of
You never want
course.
to cast a bad spell.
Never.
No, you don't want to do that. No. No voodoo or no bad spells. Okay, Mr. Zach, what's going on with Blood Moon Paranormal? Now what are you working on? I know you're all over the place. When I look at your page, you're everywhere.
Oh, we got a million projects going on all the time. Right now, I'm currently editing a video for our investigation at Middle Point Elementary, which is all the way in Middle Point, Ohio. And then actually this weekend, we are heading to Bryan, Ohio, to do a couple of locations there. One jail and a dojo, actually.
What's a dojo?
Like a karate studio.
Oh, I didn't
Apparently
know
it's
what
haunted.
I didn't know what that was. Now, it's an operating studio. It's in operation right now. They're using it, or is it closed?
I think it's closed, but
Okay.
it was a dojo for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And a speakeasy. So
Oh, speakeasy. Well,
Yeah.
speakeasies are gone. Not that everything's...
Yeah,
Since
no,
Prohibition ended, everything's legal now, so speakeasies are done. But so it was a speakeasy, and then down the line they made it a dojo. And
Correct.
Boy, you know, like they say, if the walls could talk, isn't it? Yeah, the stories it could tell, yeah. Yeah. Now, the middle school, is that an active school, or is that also closed?
Oh, that's also closed. So
Okay.
they're trying to restore it and turn it into an arcade, actually.
Oh,
So,
okay.
really interesting. But that place was super active, actually. Yeah, it was incredible.
Was it anything else before it was the school? Do you know? I'm sure you do your
Yes.
research. Yeah.
It originally started as a nunnery, so it would house nuns for the local church.
Oh boy, don't get me started on nuns. So it was a convent, huh?
Yeah.
Oh boy, yikes. Yeah, I went to school. I went to up till 5th grade. I went to school, a Catholic school, and the best thing I can remember about it was getting out.
Oh, wow.
I did not like the nuns. No, they were very, well, they're just very mean people. They were. So I could see something going on there with the nuns doing
Yeah.
something, because they were just not nice. They were not, nothing, no disrespect to any of them that are out there now or the ones that are or anything like that. But I could just tell you from experience, when I was a kid, nuns just did not treat us very nicely. And for that matter, I don't think they treated anybody nicely in those days. But any to hoot, I could see where something would be with that. Some activity with that. So I bet you're going to get a lot of activity kind of both ways. Maybe something with kids going on and with what happened when it was a convent. And that.
Yeah, so like the thing is with that place, it's like nobody really died there. So it's like it's the energy that resides there
Sure.
that from like, people's lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Just happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the teachers and the students.
You brought up a very good point there. Many people don't realize that with ghosts and stuff. Of course, to be a ghost, you have to no longer be here, or otherwise you're not a ghost. Unless you're Mary Todd Lincoln, who claimed to see the ghost of John Tyler before he died. I don't know how she pulled that one off, but she claimed she did in the Blue Room of the White House. But anyway, well, maybe it does through time travel or whatever. Sometimes that does happen, which is a whole other subject. But you brought up a good point, because not every ghost is somebody that died there or was killed there or murdered. Like, well, that's a Hollywood thing. They'd lead us to leave it to, somebody hung themselves in the closet and, or killed himself in the shower and all this, and that's why you have all these ghosts in there. No, you don't. A lot of times it's just somebody that liked that spot. They like that place, or maybe just something happened to them there, and that's why they're just kind of stuck there, or they come back residually, as you say.
Exactly.
And, walk down the hall, walk up the stairs. Why do ghosts walk through the walls?
I'm not too sure. Maybe
Oh,
it's
really?
because
I got one on you then. Okay.
Okay.
No, it's no joke. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
But because the walls weren't there when they were there.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
Yeah, later on, like remodeling and things like that and stuff, they did that, and they're taking the path they took. And the same thing too with staircases. A lot of times people claim ghosts are flying through the air, and they're actually not. Actually, what they're doing is climbing either a ladder or a stairway or something that was there, and that's what they're doing. So they appear to be floating. So, okay, cool. Love this stuff. So, yeah. So, check out their videos. They've got all kind of great stuff on there and that. And I'm sure this one will be a good one, too. So, you were just in Ohio. Now you're going back to Ohio.
Yeah, we're going back to Ohio.
Jeez, you should have killed two with one and while you were there, But
we're loving Ohio.
Yeah.
We're just going to move to Ohio.
Yeah, well, what the heck? Yeah, now, a minute ago before the show, you were going to move to Seattle. You like Seattle.
Yeah.
Well, split your time, right? You'll be in Ohio and then you'll be in Seattle. You'll be in the coffee capital.
Oh, man, I wish.
Seattle's best coffee, and what's that famous fishery out Pikes Peak or something where they throw the fish at you and all that?
Correct.
That's a famous big tourist attraction. Yeah.
Yeah, we went there before. When me and my mom went to Seattle, we went there, and their food there is so amazing.
Food at Pikes Peak?
Yeah. Well, let's relate it to paranormal real quick with that. In Seattle, we actually went to the underground area, like the city in Seattle, and that area is pretty haunted, actually. But more haunted by rats than it is ghosts.
So you went in like the old sewer system and the old underground?
Yeah, so like there's like a story of buildings underneath the actual roads that are present there today. So
no one's living in those buildings?
No.
Okay, so what actually happened, that was probably like the original city.
Yeah,
and then it flooded. They decided, let's abandon this, leave it alone, and they built another city on top of it.
Yeah, like they were already existing buildings, but they built they just built the roads on top of that first section of flooring.
Landfill or whatever like that, and then just built right on top. But everything is still under there, huh? Yeah, and like you say, I'm sure infested with rats. Oh, yeah, I can just imagine. Yeah,
it's pretty bad.
Anything underground like that, yikes. Yeah, yeah. That's weird that they would do something like that, especially in an area like that where they're prone to so much rain. And that you think they would have just filled it in totally, but then who knows how cost effective that would be to try to fill that in.
Yeah.
If it's a big tract of land or a big neighborhood,
Yeah, the tours they do down there are like actually incredible. Like it's really cool being down there. Like it's just so weird. Like just seeing like this abandoned area underneath like the streets, and then you look up and they kind of have like a little skylight, and you could see people walking over it. But like you wouldn't think of that when you're like walking
when
over
you're up on top of there. You don't think there's anything underneath you there. Yeah.
It's like frosted.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? Yeah. It's almost like a subterranean tomb or something being down there in that. Yeah. Just about every city you go to, I'm sure you found this out, every city has some sort of a ghost tour. They all do. Everybody's haunted everywhere. Everything's haunted. And every bar and pub is haunted.
Yes.
Oh, yes. What do you got to say? What's your favorite haunted bar, Emily?
Oh, I was going to say, I don't go to the haunted bars and whatnot, but I just like how a lot of them claim that they're haunted just to bring in the tourist attractions.
Oh, yeah, you found that out too, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's my favorite, where all the venues and all of that claim to be haunted, and just to bring in the people.
It brings in people, it does.
I love it.
Yeah, a lot of magic. I know actually paranormal investigators that have been approached. And they said, hey, could you come in here and do some investigation, do some things, and actually just kind of like create a haunt here and that. And there have been a couple of them that said, yeah, sure, we'll do it. And then there were a couple of them that said, no, I don't work that way and I don't do that. And that's the way to go. If you're haunting something, well, there's somebody else I believe that haunted a whole city or a whole town. I can't say the name because I'll get in trouble. But later on, remind me, and I'll tell you who it was. Yeah, he actually haunted a whole town, which wasn't haunted, but he did it for business reasons. But,
well, like opened a portal or something like that? Or?
No, he just did it. He just said, this town is haunted, Here I am, folks. Now the town is haunted,
wow.
And then when I move, I'm going to take my ghosts with me, so.
Bring the ghosts.
Yeah. That happens, what am I going to say? Yeah, and see, that's the sort of stuff I say with paranormal. When people see that and they say, oh, you guys are making a joke out of yourselves, they don't take it seriously. I think now, though, more and more people, certainly now, a lot more people are into it than used to be. That's for certain. Of course, now it's easier to reach people.
Yeah.
Years ago, you didn't have internet, you didn't have all these groups, you didn't have all this and everything. And like when I was doing it, I didn't think anybody else was doing it. I thought I was the only one that was interested in ghosts, And now, all you see, just you don't have far to go. Look on the internet, and there's like 10 million paranormal investigative groups and tours and God knows what all else. There's all kind of stuff out there for that. So it's easy to get into the paranormal now. And there's a lot of good literature, a lot of good, real fine books and things out there. Evidence to me is still a little sketchy. The real tangible evidence, really good stuff, is still a little hard to come by. And even some of the stuff that's kind of floating around out there as supposedly good stuff is still, to me, a little questionable. I don't know. I'm a little a little sketchy on some of that stuff like that. But like I say, I think time to come it will be, a recognized science. It'll be I always use this. I always say like how chiropractors a few years ago were recognized not as even medicine. They thought it was quackery. Now, yes, chiropractors do help. It is beneficial, and your doctor will even recommend that you see a chiropractor. Before they were thought to be just nonsense. And paranormal, I think, eventually will go in that field that way too, and be recognized, and a little more regulated, a little more guidelines to it, where it's just not anybody would have a camera from the dollar stores out there, and they're a paranormal investigator. So yeah.
Unfortunately, I feel like that's like a long ways away, and I wish it wasn't. But
yeah, I don't think I'll see it. I'm 63, and I don't think I will see that in my life. And of course, God knows how long I'm going to be around, But I just don't think it's going to be like in the next 20 years or so.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm 21. I don't even think I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
You're only 21. I thought you were a little older than that.
No, I'm only 21.
You seem so mature. Well, good for you.
She's 20. I'm 21. So
good.
Yeah.
Well, that's perfect. The guy should always be in a couple. The guy should always be like a year older. I don't know why I said that. I just did. I don't know. It's nothing.
It works very
nothing
well.
to do with anything. I don't know. I just say these things, and if people agree with them, I just let them go. That's it. You are a Wiccan.
I am. Yes.
Yes. Now, were you always a Wiccan, or did you turn 18 and said, "Okay, here I am, Mom. I'm going into this now. That's it. I'm not a Baptist anymore," or whatever,
So I was actually baptized as Episcopalian.
Okay.
I didn't really have a choice. My grandparents were very religious. My mother and father are very religious. They went through a born-again Christian phase as well.
Oh, yeah.
So that also got very hammered into me. So like I said, I got baptized as Episcopalian, and then I started going to a Catholic church with my parents. Didn't have a choice, obviously. Couldn't stay home. Just wasn't really vibing with it too much.
Sure.
I just wasn't liking the preacher at the church either. But then I kind of started to realize more of like a bond between like the nature aspect, the spiritual aspect, and all of that. And I started digging more into it, and paganism came up, and I started digging even more into it. And then I got into like the subgenre of Wiccanism, and it was around like when I was like 14, starting to grasp the concepts of life, and I'm becoming a
those
teenager.
Teenage years will do it every time.
I was going to say, becoming a teenager and actually like understanding what things are, becoming my own person and all of that. And I decided, and I haven't looked back, and I really like it. It's
and that's
awesome.
what any religious experience, that's what it should be. Just what you said. I really like it. It's something self-satisfying. You feel it's an edifying experience, and that's what it should be. Anything,
Yeah, of course.
It's just, it's a little different that you went from Episcopal to like Roman Catholicism, and then you went into this. And instead of saying, well, I don't really like those denominations, let me find another Catholic church I do like, where I like the priest a little better, or I like the people a little better, let me try that. No, instead you said, oh, the heck with all of this. I don't want anything to do with organized religion, and I'm going into this. Yeah.
Exactly. That's also with another thing, the organized religion thing. I also like how with Wiccanism, it's more of just like a free-spirited thing. You can either be with a coven, with a group of other witches, and do it that way, or you can be a solitary witch, which is what I am. I will never say no to hanging out with some witches and casting some spells, throwing some good vibes out there, but I mainly just practice by myself, just now,
I have to confess, I really don't know much about it, so I asked some questions that seem really stupid. I mean, of course they say no question is stupid unless you don't ask it. But now, as a Wiccan, do you disregard any religious teachings, like anything God, anything Christ, any of that? No, I didn't think that's what it was. But like I said, I just didn't know.
Yeah, and also that's one of the main teachings of like paganism, Wiccanism. Sort of, you shouldn't be knocking other religions as well.
Yeah, I agree.
It's that's that person's choice, and if they find their faith and that's how they go about it, that's perfect.
Everybody find their little niche wherever whatever you feel comfortable with. That's it. Yeah, it should be a personal thing,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And with Wiccanism, the cool thing about it is like the higher power. It's not just some just energy. You can also put it into like deities, which gods and goddesses. That's also what I like. You can worship more than one. You can have gods and goddesses. It's just not like how Christians and Catholics, how they have like just the one God,
Yeah.
So, and I kind of really just felt a grasp on like Egyptian mythology.
Oh,
so
yes.
That's kind of like what I just myself towards, I would say.
Thoth, Ra, Horus.
Exactly.
Isis, Osiris. Yeah.
Osiris and all that, yes, of course.
I very much got into the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Yeah, I very much got into it. And I wound up doing like a few presentations on the Book of the Dead, and I really got into it. And I was really amazed that for about the first 3,000 years in recorded history, that was like the most important book that the world had.
Exactly.
And the strange thing about it was very few people could read it.
Exactly.
Very few people could read it because, number one, they just weren't taught. In ancient Egypt, there was no system of public education where children went to school to learn to read and write. A lot of times, even the pharaoh himself couldn't read the hieroglyphics and that, but he had scribes around him that did. But yet, you still had to have a copy of it.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. If you were wealthy enough to be able to afford one, you had to have it. Yeah.
But yeah, going back to it's not really a disregarding any other religion either, because you can be a Wiccan and also believe in like Buddhist sort of like entails and all of that. So they also have Christian witches too, which kind of pull from the Christianity, but
the Judeo-Christian teaching, Buddha, Muhammad, Christ, they're all my sons. They're all. If God created everybody, He created all of them too.
Yeah.
So everybody here. So
exactly.
Everybody for a purpose. Yeah. If that's what you choose to believe.
Exactly.
Everybody has their own beliefs in that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So good. So then you're actually a good witch.
Yes.
You're not a bad witch.
No.
You don't cast bad spells on people.
No. That black magic I stay out of.
That would be a little more. And now here again, I may be mistaken on, and hope I don't sound too off the wall by saying that. But that would be more satanic worship, like the dark arts and the black arts and that kind of thing.
That's a big misconception when you hear witch. Everybody thinks like, Satanism and all of that. But there's a difference between like Wiccanism, paganism, and Satanism. But it's just a broad term of being called a witch because
they kind of group everything into one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's more black magic with the Satanism and all of that, and there's a heavy dividing between that and like the regular like Wiccanism and like the white magic and all of that.
Okay, yeah, white magic and black magic. White being good, of course.
There's
black magic being bad.
There's white magic, there's gray magic, and black magic. Black magic obviously goes with the Satanism aspect. The white magic is obviously white, pure, wholehearted intentions, like healing and all of that. And then gray magic, or gray witches they like to call them, they're the people that like won't be afraid to like put a karma spell out there or like a little something back to the person if they obviously have it like in their court that's needed to be hit back, Yeah,
with karma, you don't really have to put a spell. It's going to come out and find you anyway. It
exactly.
does. I'm a firm believer in that. That's why I try not to go through life biting people the wrong way, because it's going to come back at you. It does, and when karma comes back, boy, it's horrible.
Threefold, that's the rule. It'll come back to you three times as hard.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in karma,
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Well, so what do you got to say about all of this?
Religious-wise, I wouldn't consider myself religious at all. I don't place myself with anything, but I have explored everything.
Okay.
Or most of what I can. So I've done my research on most of the religions, and mostly just focusing on, like, okay, what is their opinion on ghosts? What is their opinion on spirits? Like, what do they believe? That's just what I've done my research on.
This is another one that I've had. One time in conversation with somebody brought up to me, and we were talking about it, and they said, well, how could you claim to be religious, and you go to a church, and you go to a Bible study like I do, and they says, and then you're into this paranormal, and you're into fortune-telling, and you're into all of this and everything. How do you, I says, oh, come on, are you kidding me? I says, open up your Bible. It all started there. I said, if you believe that Bible is what it is, this all started there. I mean, how many times is the word ghost mentioned in the Bible? How many people in the Bible were dream interpreters, soothsayers, magicians, sorcerers? All these things are mentioned there, It's just there, When the disciples supposedly saw Christ walking on the water and they were in the boat, what was the first thing they said? It's a ghost. And then what was his response? No, I'm not a ghost. So now for them to be talking about a ghost, this is, 3,000 years ago in biblical history. Even then, people knew what a ghost was. So they've been around since time itself began, which I believe it also started in ancient Egypt, the ghosts, with the tombs and that, But,
Yeah, no, I've done my research on, like, all types of different religions, and I've even, like, Star Wars Jedi's, like, apparently that's a religion now, too. So, like, I've even gone into that.
Vampirism.
Like, research that. Vampirism, too. Yeah. Like, I've just done research on all of that stuff, and, ultimately I haven't placed myself, and I was an atheist for a very long time, and, was skeptical about the paranormal, and obviously saw something and experienced something that changed my opinion about that.
Sure.
So I don't know where to place myself.
Okay.
Because it's more, The paranormal for me is more of a science thing.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah, I can kind of tell, talking about you, that's more what it is. It's not just like a curiosity or, that type of thing. It's more of a scientific thing with you, yeah.
Correct.
Because you seem like you're a very technical person, yeah. Yeah. Good. Just nice to know where you stand and that you're there, and I appreciate your candidness and your honesty. Yeah, it's good to hear that, yeah. Nice to hear that, yeah.
Yeah, most people don't like to talk about a religion just
Oh, no.
it starts conflict, but like,
yeah,
hey,
it's always
I'm an open book, so.
Yeah, it's always a touchy subject. Yeah, it is. It's always a touchy thing, yeah. I actually did a program a couple of years ago, and it's the first time I've ever done that. I threw it out to a couple of libraries. I forget. Oh, let me see if they even touched us, about ghosts and supernatural in the Bible, paranormal in the Bible. Mm-hmm. And I tossed it out to two of the libraries thinking, well, and it's the first time I ever did a program without actually having it done. Usually I have the programs all done and all worked out before I do it. Boom, two libraries jumped on it right away. He says, yeah, we'd like you to come and talk about it. So then I had to do the program,
That's awesome.
So then I had to do my work and do it and everything. But I had enough material to do a program, but no doubt at all. Like you say, you just open up the book and it's there. It's all there, so yeah. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know how on one hand you could say yeah and then say no. Oh, that's not true, it doesn't. Because it's mentioned so many times. It's there, and so many things have happened. And I think the Bible is like one of the most supernatural books out there,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, how do you explain all that stuff,
Yeah, right.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I actually had somebody ask me one time, was Jesus a zombie? And at first I thought, and the person was serious about it, and I says, well, I'm not the expert to explain this to you, because I'm not a technical, you probably would be very technical about the explanation, but I says, well, no, I don't believe he was. I says, if you're looking at it in a sense like what we tend to think a zombie is, someone that's risen from the dead, and then goes out to seek the living, that type of thing like that, well, that wasn't what Jesus was about. But I says he was nonetheless resurrected from the dead, and he did walk on earth for a while. And so I says, maybe he was a zombie if you want to look at it that way. But no, I think his situation is just a unique. He was the one and only, and that's it. And that's it. And just leave his as a unique situation. He was not a zombie.
Yeah.
It's funny the things that come into people's minds.
Just depends how you look at it, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. See, that's what I say. We never know how the conversation is going to go here. Now, you've got Ouija boards all over your logo on your shirts and everything. You into the Ouija?
Okay, so I know she believes in Ouija boards, but I, however, do not believe they work.
I don't either.
So.
Well, I believe they work. But I believe you shouldn't use them.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've seen some scary stuff with Ouijas.
I think it's one of those aspects. Obviously, like a spirit can move like a vase, or they can move something. So obviously, they can move a planchette on a board with your hands on it and using your energy. Of course, like I've sat at an investigation. Me and one of our other investigators, we sat there. We had our hands on a Ouija board. Nothing at all. We got all this like evidence
because you were doing it the right way.
I guess so.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we didn't get anything really, but I believe that it can work, but you have to be with the right person, because the whole you're pushing and like you never know the other person, they're trying to mess with you. This is the whole thing
with the paranormal. Now you're yourself too, Zach. Now you go out and you do investigations. Like you investigate these places in Ohio and Savannah and all these, and just all over the place. You're everywhere. You really get around. Yeah, you guys really do a lot of tracks. You do a lot of stuff, and I hope you keep records and documents of everything that you do.
Yeah,
I'm sure you do, and all that. But now sometimes don't you find that too, where you go? And I hear that happen to me. I've been out on an investigation with a team or something, and nothing comes up. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And of course, someone in the team says, "Oh, I got something here. I got something," and you really don't. It's just a person that's maybe a little overzealous and really wants something to be there, and they're almost like seeing something that really isn't there. But a lot of times this happens, and sometimes you hit the key on the head, the nail on the head when you said right person, wrong person. Sometimes that's what it is. You're with the right person. Everything kind of connects, and that's it. And I think it's just that way with the paranormal, too. Sometimes it's the wrong person, sometimes the right person. I've known of instances where you've had two people, and one person is seeing something clear as day, and the other person says there's nothing there. They're not seeing anything. So it does happen that way, yeah. But, okay, so we got one believes in the Ouija, one doesn't. Yeah, you believe in it, but yet you say you shouldn't use it. Like, you believe what I do. I don't think you should use the Ouijas.
I mean, you hear all these like sort of stigmas about it, like opening portals and whatnot. That I don't want to test it. That's my thing. I don't want to open a portal and not be able to shut it just deal with the aftermath.
If I do something, how do I undo it?
Exactly. I'd rather know 100% how to fix that if it does happen. But I mean, I do believe that they can work.
Well, before we came into the age of technology, what were people using? And we've had ghost hunters since time, almost since the beginning of time, too, particularly in the 19th century when spiritualism became a real big thing. Mm-hmm. And spiritualism was a real big religion. It was a real big thing for spiritualism, which the religion is just based on people that can communicate with the dead. That was it. Well, people were using these devices because no one had electronics and no one had, voice recordings and all these things. So people were using Ouija boards to communicate. They were using dowsing rods. They were using, all those type of things to communicate, So, I don't know. Yeah.
I don't even dowsing rods I'm sketchy about. I don't like using those either.
You can kind of make it do things that it wants
Yes.
to. I used a dowsing rod one time in a presentation, and I showed people how easy it was. Mm-hmm. How easy it was to get a yes and a no answer out of it.
Yeah,
it's easy to do.
That's why, I don't use those. I've never used a pendulum, so I wouldn't know how that works. But still, sketchy about those. Ouija board, sketchy about those. They all deal with physics, like gravity and just force.
Well, those are all the
stuff.
old, like I said, those are all the old devices. That's what people used before there was anything else.
Even the new devices, some of them I'm sketchy about.
I am too.
Yeah.
A lot of the recordings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're made to capture the paranormal. Like all those paranormal apps, don't trust them. They're made to show you stuff and pull evidence, and you use your phone on them. You know that your phone has a mic on it,
that's how we sell it.
Yeah.
That's how it sells. Yeah. If it works, it's going to sell. Yeah. So we'll make it work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What am I going to say? A good many of the EVP recordings that I've heard, and there's some good ones. There are some good ones. I don't blow them all off, but I'd say and I give it a high number. I don't know how you feel about this, but I'd say maybe 90% of them aren't what they're saying it is. They're not. Mm-hmm. You have maybe 10% that I think you really got something here. This is something, but 90% of this is just a lot of ooh ah ting tang walla walla wing wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you took the words right out of my mouth because
ooh,
I was
ooh, ah, ting, ting, walla, walla, wing, wing.
Yeah, that. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
No, so I was going to say something about that. So I honestly believe that about 10% of the paranormal that is captured is actually paranormal evidence that is paranormal.
Now, I know somebody that does investigations with a team and that, and goes out and does this, and every single day, we got the best evidence ever. I got the best stuff here. Everything he does, it tops the other one and that. And then I'll go and I'll look at it and I'll listen to it, and I'm trying to be polite about it. I'm like, well, I don't hear anything, or I'm not seeing anything. And then I get this one, well, you have to have a trained ear. If your ear isn't trained the right way, you're not going to hear this. And then what they'll do is then they play some of them backwards even too. They go through that, and I says, "Now come on, we used to do this when we had LP records when we were kids, backward masking. We play it backward, and you get things that do sound like human speech and different. So how much do you want to play with these to try to get it? If these spirits, these entities, are taking the trouble to come from the other realm to communicate with us, why are they doing it not in a way that we're capable of understanding it?
Right.
That's always that's my feeling. That's my feeling on it. If they have a message to relate to me, relate it to me. Now, one old device that I do like to work with on an investigation, and I'll swear to that more than I will to any EVPs, if it's a good one, is a good medium. A good spirit medium can really get some great evidence. And if it's a good medium, not somebody that's 50-50 or just so-so or a phony, which we know there's a lot of those out there too. But if you have a good medium, and they can get they'll really get some good descriptions. They'll get names. They'll get all kind of things, And that kind of stuff isn't going to come off on an EVP, EVP recordings.
And that's the thing is, people ask me sometimes, what's your favorite piece of equipment? The human body. That's the best piece of equipment. You have your eyes, you have your ears. You could hear it yourself. Sometimes you could even smell it. It smells like mothballs, old perfume. You could
Phantom Suns. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
People don't realize that, but everyone wants to, of course, see the apparition, which is a very rare thing, as you know. You've been doing this a while, and it's you do see them, but it's a rare thing. Yeah. You don't see them every day. You don't do that. If you do, boy, you're a very fortunate person, and I
wish.
And you belong being in the paranormal for sure, no doubt about that. Either that, or just people have a lot of messages to give you. But other ways you experience the paranormal are just that creepy feeling. That strange feeling, there's something there behind you, almost like I could feel something touching me. Now, the touching thing, too, I have a little trouble with that, where people being touched and being bitten by ghosts and scratched by ghosts and the sort of thing like that. I'm not sure. That may go on, too, but I don't think it goes on to the extent some people claim it does. But the smells. and that you get that, like, I'm smelling, Chanel No. 5 perfume, and that was so-and-so's favorite perfume, or cigar smoke or something, and, all these different things, these little subtle things to let you know they're there, so sounds, smells, and, of course, the sights. If you're fortunate enough and you happen to see the apparition of somebody there, great, wonderful.
Yes.
I feel like the best evidence, honestly, isn't captured. It's all captured with the human eye.
Yeah.
Like,
but the trouble with that is, if we need to have the definite proof to put before the public to prove our science here, we have to have something tangible. We have to have good photographs. We have to have good sound recordings. We have to have those things. Otherwise, if we just see it, it's substantial evidence.
Exactly.
I've seen this, I've seen that. So what? You could be a good storyteller. You're just making something up. But it's just how it is. What am I going to say? People need something to put their hands on that they can really see.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's definitely the problem with the science and the paranormal is when you're doing it with the scientific method, it's like you need that control, and the control would be the spirit, which you can't control spirit.
No,
so
you can't. No,
you definitely cannot.
You can't call them up at will. They're gonna, when they feel like coming, they will. They'll show themselves.
Exactly, and I feel like that's the big problem with people don't understand. You have to sit there and wait. It's like fishing. It's a lot like fishing.
Yeah.
You may not even.
You don't.
You may not even get a bite that day.
Now, sometimes too, you're not even doing the paranormal. That's the furthest thing from your mind. You're going to pay your electric bill or whatever, and then next thing you know, something happens. Oh my gosh, look at this. Boom.
Yeah.
Yep.
Had that happen to me the other day. It's a long story. I don't want to go into that, but anyway, it was something to do with a UFO. I have no other way to explain it. But and that's the first time ever in my life I've seen any. And I always wanted to see a UFO. I sure think I did. Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I sure think I did see something. I even went to the point where I called the police and said, was something reported? Did anyone else see this? Did anybody, And they says, no, nothing. And my first thought was, well, it was something military that was going on up in the sky and that. And they said, no, nothing at all. And I told the police, you're probably going to think I'm crazy. But I says, no, they took me very seriously in that because they saw I was just not, And there were two of us that saw it. Matter of fact, the other person saw it first. He pointed it out to me, and saw it. And he said, "Don't you see what's going on up there?" He says, "No, at first I didn't see anything." And then, as in talking to each other, he's look, there it is again. And lo and behold, did see it. So
that's crazy.
But there again, now do I have a photograph of it? Do I have anything of it? No, I'm telling you my story, and you can say, "Yeah, Bob, sure, you're a sensationalist." What am I going to say? People I tend to believe, giving me their stories, their paranormal stories. Yes, I did see this. Yes, I did feel that. There was something going on there. Are people that have nothing to lose or gain by giving me their story. It's a person that's not writing a book. They're not doing something in some way promoting it where they're making money off of it, that type of thing like that. They're just basically I'm telling you what I saw. I'm telling you what happened to me, and they're giving you their story. And I think they're being very candid and very honest with you. They have nothing to lose or gain. Those are people I tend to take as very good witnesses to the paranormal. So, 21 years old, and you've accomplished all of this. Man, I hope, let's see, in 20 more years, I'll be 83 years old. I don't think I'll be doing paranormal, then I may not even be on this earth at that time. But, boy, in another 20 years, I want to see what kind of work you're going to do. Boy, if you've done all this already at 21, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't done enough yet.
Oh, no, of course, you never do. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've done a lot. We've gone all over the place. I mean, our best location is Penhurst Asylum. Without a doubt.
I was going to ask you. I was going to say, what was it?
Penhurst Asylum.
Oh, Penhurst, okay.
Penhurst, yeah. It's all the way in Spring City, Pennsylvania, I think. I think it's Spring City. I can't remember.
Okay.
It was an old, lunatic asylum and state school for mentally challenged. So, and, that it's really sad. Some of the investigators that go there, some of the videos I've watched before going there.
Here we go.
It's like I'm not going to call people out, even though they're
I
a
know.
bigger group. But it's like these are children that had mental disabilities, and they were going in there like guns blazing, insulting, terrorizing them, and it's like, come on, like I know you're trying to get a rise.
Now
but
I thought if you're a good investigator, you shouldn't have to do that to get responses. And that's actually the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, well, because they're children. Like, they're children.
And they're mentally challenged.
Exactly. So it was like, I saw that, and I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that.
I would think them, above all, you would treat more with kindness and kid gloves and sort of.
And that's exactly what we did is when we went there.
And you probably got better results.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, the best thing that happened when we were there, we didn't catch on camera. We literally just stopped recording. 10 seconds later, we heard this giant, door slam. And it was on the same floor as us, and we were all in the same room together. We ran over there, and that thing was like sealed shut, and there was no wind coming through at all. It was just It was insane. And I
Wooden
was
door, metal door?
Metal door.
Metal door? Okay.
Yeah. It was heavy. It was a heavy door.
Yeah.
It was insane. Like, I couldn't believe
so
it happened.
something or some force pushed it.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's always nice, too, when you have other people witness the same thing. You can all back each other up with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, we all heard it. Even the tour guide, he was downstairs.
Oh, so it was a tour thing, huh? They
yeah,
take it to.
yeah.
This seems to be the trend now, too. Every abandoned, it used to be an asylum, every abandoned school, every abandoned tobacco warehouse, I don't know, whatever it may be. Oh, it's haunted. You know, they buy this thing, they rent it out, they, you know, for the investigators, they charge all this money and all this and that, and it seems to be a trend the way this is going. And, of course, you know, everybody wants to make money, of course, I understand that, but I don't know if that's the right way to go about it. You know, you know, we got a real hot location here, and we're charging people to come in and investigate it.
You know, it's nice, though, because, like, that money, usually, for the most part, goes back into the building, into restoring it and bringing it back to what it used to be, and I can really respect that, so I understand why the money thing is there. And the people I meet there most of the time, like the tour guides, so nice. I love everybody I meet there. So
you do. That's one thing about this field. You do meet a lot of nice people. But my question is, if the building is abandoned, it's no longer used in it, what are you restoring it for?
Historical purposes.
So is it something that's on like the historic registry? It's on the, you know.
Some of them yes, some of them no.
Okay.
For example, Stone Mansion in Winchester, Indiana. That's on the historic registry.
Right. Now there are certain guidelines with that too. When something is on like a national historic registry, you have to be very, very careful about restorations and remodeling and all that. It's got to be, you know, like in New Orleans. You know, if you buy a house in the French Quarter and it's painted pink and it's got green shutters, you better like pink and green shutters because you can't repaint it. Its color's got to stay. You know.
And that's the thing is like they're taking the money that they get from investigations there, and they have pictures of the property from like as far back as they can go, and they're painting it the colors that it was. They're like stuff that wasn't didn't get kept there. So like example. At the Stone Mansion, there was these fountains out front. There were cast iron fountains out front, and they were gone. But they found one of them at like a scrapyard.
Oh, for God's sakes!
So,
yeah.
So they took all that money and they bought that fountain back
and put it out there, restored it, and put it back. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's a good way of doing it. Yeah, I imagine that is a lot of. You have to go back into records and see how it was furnished, what was there, what was colors, what kind of and of course tools too, and instruments in use at that time, and that if it's an asylum or a school or something, what they had at that time, what they were using. Yeah. What year did it stop being? Do you know? I don't know how much of the history of the place you know, but what year did it stop being an asylum?
Penhurst. Oh man. I believe the 1970s, 1980s. They were one recent. They were one of the first ones to get shut down during that time, because when all the asylums started getting shut down for cruel treatment and all that stuff, they were one of the first ones because a news anchor came there and was recording all of it. And there's a documentary on YouTube of footage from Penhurst, and you can see all the patients, the cruel treatment that they went through. And it's absolutely insane.
Penhurst.
Yeah, Penhurst.
P-E-N-D.
It's Penhurst. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you could see the all of the
sanatoriums. Penhurst Sanatorium. Asylum.
Yep.
Okay, I might have to check that one out.
It's pretty crazy. It's like
some of the
surreal.
methods they used to use. Of course, by the 70s, things were pretty coming into the modern age by then. But some of the treatment they used to do for insane and mentally ill was just, oh my gosh, horrible stuff.
Well, that's why, in the 70s, it started getting shut down, because it's like you're starting to get into like the modern age of medicine and technology and stuff like that. But they were still using like
shock treatment,
lobotomies, water therapy, stuff like that, and it just wasn't like.
Just goes to show you how little was known, and in a way still to today, how much is known of mental illness.
Yeah,
it's a tough field,
Yeah, those asylums. That's my my forte when it comes to haunted locations.
Because there's probably been a lot of cruelty and a lot of things there. Yes. So there again, if the walls could talk, they have stories to tell. Things that went on there and that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's usually like when I go to those locations, like the like poor boys farms, the asylums, the mental hospitals. One of the things that I tell them is I introduce myself, and then like I go in to say like, hey, look, like your superintendent, your person that takes care of you and stuff like that, he's not here. Like you can talk to us. Like, so it's like just trying to get them comfortable with talking to us and, you know, being like, this is a safe place to do so.
Yeah.
So.
Because you're serious about this, you know.
Yeah.
We're not just there to, you know, we're not the curiosity seekers. Although if they do run tours, I'm sure they get a lot of that too.
Yeah.
You get a lot of people that just come in and are, you know, it's a Saturday night event to do with something different, you know. And Halloween has got to be a big season for that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like, you ever hear of Ashmore Estates?
Ashmore,
sure,
yes.
yes.
Yeah.
So I love that place a lot because Robin Terry has done incredible things there. When I went there back in 2014, 2015, somewhere around then, the place, he just got it and he was still restoring it and stuff. And the activity there was very, very, like, they didn't want you there. They were very rude. It's like bad energy almost. I went back a second time in 2020 or 2019. I can't remember exactly. But I went back there and it just felt like welcoming. Like they wanted us there. And Robin restored the place like so good. Like that, it looks so different compared to the first
time. If you went
time.
there in 2014, you were a youngster yourself. You were
Yeah,
about 13 years old.
I was 14,
yeah.
Yeah. I started when I was 12. So,
yeah.
Yep. Started when I was 12. And
started doing this when you were 12 years old.
Correct.
Because something you experienced brought you into it.
Correct.
And you said there's something more out here than just things that go bump in the night.
And that's what I meant by like earlier when I said I was an atheist. Like I didn't, like, I experienced something, but I was like, okay, I don't believe in anything, but like, let's go see if there's something.
Everybody believes in something.
Oh, I didn't believe in anything. Yeah, I know it sounds ridiculous, but for a 12-year-old too, like.
Everyone believes in something, even if it's Batman or Superman or Santa Claus. Everybody believes in something.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, yeah, my first investigation ever, like, I guess just ghost tour, it was like a 2-hour tour. It was at Bartonville Insane Asylum down in Peoria.
So see, they do serve a good purpose. Now, if you get somebody involved in it, in the field and that, you know, the same thing too with the TV shows and that. You know, I have no problems with those either. I get asked that quite a lot too. People say, well, which shows do you watch? And I don't watch any of them. And I have a very good reason for not watching them. I just don't have cable. And 90% of them are all on cable TV, and I don't have cable, so I don't get to see them. But occasionally I do get to see Zach, you know, on TV and these things and that and the other and all that. And, you know, it's not a true investigation, as you know. It's not, you know, in an hour's time you don't get that kind of results.
Right.
That doesn't happen. Yeah, you don't. That's not the way it works. We all know that. But if someone does watch this and maybe that inspires them to maybe go into this type of work, okay, fine. But then on the negative side of it, maybe people are going into it and saying, okay, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do what they did, and then when it doesn't happen, you sort of lose interest in it. And these are the people then that become the doubting Thomases and say, there's nothing to this. It's a lot of hooey. There's nothing there. Just because they haven't gotten the instant gratification from it.
Yeah, like I said, it's like fishing.
Yeah,
you got to have patience.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you get, like, the people, especially recently, and I've heard this from, like, a lot of the owners of the haunted places we go to, is you get the nerds, and then you get the people who are just trying to be like the TV show. Like, we're the nerds. Like, we love it. We're doing it for the right reasons. And
the paranormal geeks.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And then there's people that are going into it expecting to get results, stealing stuff from the locations.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I've heard so much about it, and especially in recent years.
There's a few reasons, which I'm sure you know, why you shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a collector myself. I won't lie. Like, I'll go on eBay and like I'll find like stuff that like is haunted, quote unquote,
like
haunted.
A brick from the St. Valentine's Day Massacre wall and that kind of thing.
Stuff like that. And I have tons of stuff in my room, and I do want to open a museum one day with all the stuff I collect. So that's a goal.
I got to ask you about this now. What is the most unusual thing that you have?
Oh God,
there's a lot.
There is a lot in there. There is a lot. Jeez.
And I'm guessing a lot of this is pieces from buildings and pieces from locations.
Yeah, I mean, I do collect some bricks from locations.
Yeah.
And then, like, there'll be stuff like, you know, I'll see, like, a creepy doll at maybe, like, an antique store. I'll be like, okay, that's a little creepy. And then, like, there's times when I have this...
Yours?
Yeah, I brought this dummy home one time, and I actually did an Ovilus session with it, and I asked it, what's your name? Right away, came back, said Robert. I'm like, okay, like, that's what we're going with. So
what was it, like a ventriloquist doll or something?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it I don't know what year it's from, but it came back.
Twilight Zone episode with the ventriloquist doll?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. Old black and white one, real creepy.
Yeah, no, So I call him Robert the Dummy, because there's already a Robert the Doll. So I'm like, gotta call him Robert the Dummy. So,
I think he's my favorite, not gonna lie. Out of everything, I think he's the most like random and obscure.
To answer that question, I said which one was the most unique, so I guess it's
it's it's him, yeah.
Or the old Ouija board that you have.
Oh yeah, I have a 1960s Ouija board. Even though I don't really believe
in the box still too, and everything.
I was going to they said it was from around the 1890s, and it looked to be. It was like a handmade wooden board, really nice. It didn't have the planchette. It didn't have that, but it was the board itself. And I almost was going to buy it just like a collector's thing, and then if I could ever do a presentation on fortune telling and that kind of thing, I can bring it to. And I thought, nah, I don't really want to own one because it might just be too tempting for me to start fooling around. And I thought, nah, I didn't. I sort of passed on it. But, sometimes you think, maybe I should have got it. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, okay, fine. Yeah.
You know what? Now I know.
You got the old one with you got the one with the box with the hooded figure.
Correct.
On it, yeah.
Yep.
And then they changed it. I used to work for Toys R Us. I worked for Toys R Us for 24 years.
Oh, really?
And we sold the Ouijas on the Parker Brothers game wall, with all the Monopoly and Risk and all the other stuff. And there was Ouija boards. And every October, the Ouijas would fly off the shelves.
No.
Not literally. They would fly off the shelves and up to the cash register.
Yeah.
People would be buying them. And I can remember how that changed over the years. Now, it's not a Ouija. Now, the word has kind of gotten around about Ouijas maybe being not the best of things you want to fool around with.
Mm-hmm.
So they're starting to name them spirit boards.
Yeah.
And it's in a little pastel box with pink and yellow figures on it. It doesn't have the shrouded, the hooded, cloaked figure on there anymore. Very mystical looking.
Yeah, that was a really cool design, though.
Oh, yeah.
I like that design a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I remember that box really well. Yeah.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I know what my best thing is that I have. I actually have a Bible that was used by a patient at Penhurst. Going back to Penhurst,
okay.
yeah. So it's an old Bible from Penhurst Asylum.
Okay.
So
now, how'd you come into that?
eBay. That's where I find all my stuff.
See,
so.
when you buy something like that off eBay, couldn't someone just have a Bible and say, "Okay, here it is,"
I looked at the date on it, and then it has signatures on it, and
Okay.
So hope so.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed that it actually is, but
Yeah.
it looks pretty authentic from
Okay.
what it is. So.
Right.
And the way it was packaged, too, is very well taken care of.
Okay, good.
So,
yeah.
Because
you often have to wonder about that stuff. Somebody sells a brick and says, "Oh, this is a brick from the Holmes Castle," and that kind of thing. The murder castle. And well, how do I really know? I mean, it's I don't know. It's tough to know.
It is tough. It is tough. You can just take a brick off of any building and be
oh
yeah, it's this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Just start pulling bricks from something that looks old enough. People will believe it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I'm very careful, because you type in haunted stuff on eBay and it's
endless.
It's dolls.
Endless.
It's all dolls.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you get Dubuque boxes and stuff like that.
Voodoo too. If you punch up voodoo.
Yeah.
I started doing that. I was looking for voodoo, and you get a lot of the little voodoo dolls, with the ones you're supposed to pins.
The cute little, ones that people pump out to,
The tourist video, not the real video, or not the tourist voodoo, I should say, not the real voodoo.
And you get ones with sticks and pine cones and stuff.
Yeah.
Whose sixth grade art project is this?
Yeah. Hey, if someone is willing to pay for it, it's worth what someone wants to pay for it. If someone wants to buy it, okay, fine. But what am I going to say?
Yeah, we did a series for a little bit. We haven't done it in a while, where we would actually buy those Dubuque boxes off of eBay, and it was weird.
It was fun.
It was really weird.
It was
fun. Some of them were cardboard boxes, and then some of them were there was this chest, and I think there was a dead frog in it.
It was a dead frog.
Yeah.
I swear it was a dead frog.
And I was like, all right, this
and
is
they
getting...
ship this to you and mail you the dead frog?
Yeah. Well, you don't know what's in it. It's all wax covered and stuff like that, so you got to open it up. Then it was weird, so I think that's kind of why we stopped doing it post-COVID, because of COVID.
Sure, you don't know what you're...
Yeah.
You don't know what's in there.
It was really weird.
Pandora's box. You don't know what... When you open it up, you don't know what you're going to find in there. Yeah. You could be releasing something out into the atmosphere.
Well, that's why we had an EMF ready on the side. We were let's see if it goes off. But
yeah. It's like those devil boxes. They communicate with the spirits.
Yeah.
The devil's box. Yeah, I'm sure you're aware of what they are, right? Yeah. That's another one of those sort of hand gadgets, not really too tech. I think they are a little technical. Aren't they electronic? Some are, some aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then mirror boxes, too, and all these different things. They have all these different ways to communicate, supposedly. Like you say, if I could work with a good medium, I'd rather do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, I'm skeptical about mediums, most of them. I've only met maybe one or two good mediums.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Ditto,
Yeah.
ditto.
So
Yeah, ditto. Yeah.
Yep.
There are some out there that if the information is just a little too general, that it could be kind of true, or you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
When someone's making things up, and when someone's actually telling you, something's going on there. If they're a little more specific about it, like anything else. Oh my goodness, people try to pull the wool over your eyes with all kind of stuff, don't they? Yeah.
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 And it's amazing that they can sell anything like that. You could buy a bottle of dragon's blood. You could buy, and they sell these things. It's just, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of like ghost hunting teams that I see. Also, like they advertise, like, 'cause we will do like home investigations. Like if you want to figure out, like, all right, like there's a spirit in your home, you think, like, what's it want? That's basically, if we do one, that's like what we're trying to find out. Or what does the spirit want? It's amazing the amount of people who will like convince, like the groups will convince the people that there's like spirits there, and then they'll be like, oh, for like $100 we'll come in and sage your home. Like,
this is where regulations
terrible.
and things should come in.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going into a private residence, you're doing this, and number one, do these people have any qualifications, any kind of skills to do this, or are they just doing it, and you're a homeowner or whatever, and you're kind of putting your trust into these people. Hopefully,
Right.
do your diligence. There's a lot of good teams out there that will go
Right.
in, and they will sage a house, and they will do things to get rid of the entities that's there and that kind of stuff. If you're having problems with something, or it's just being very disturbing for you, knowing that something's around there, and you would like it to sort of pass on, into its next life or the next world. There are some good people out there, but just be a little leery of this. And there again, some of it is money. I hate to say that, but some teams will do it for nothing. They do it just for the sake of doing it. Now, I can understand if they do want to charge something, because you are spending a lot of time doing it and that type of thing. But just be a little careful with that and do your homework. If you happen to have something going on in your residence or in your office or something, you say, yeah, we'd like to get somebody in here and investigate this. We think we have something going on here, and if they can do something about it, we'd like to have it gone. Do your diligence, and know who you're getting, and be careful, because there are a lot of people out there that are just sort of hucksters, and then there's a lot of people out there that really don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I don't really charge. The only thing I would charge is like gas.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm young, like
absolutely.
Just a little gas money, like I'm good.
There's nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all. I mean, everybody has to, you have to make something, of course. You have
Yeah.
to just cover expenses a little bit. I would, that's understandable. There's nothing wrong with that. No, I don't see anything wrong with that at all. No. But yeah, just like I say, do your diligence, don't be careful with it. Same thing too, I always tell people, like with psychics and fortune telling and that type of thing. People say, well, how do I know a good one from a bad one? I say, it's money. Hands
Yeah.
down. If you're going to see somebody and they say, oh, this is kind of getting really good and that, but we need more time for this. Can you come back and see me next week? Bing. Light bulbs should go on. They're kind of looking for a steady client to maybe be coming, every week or every once a month or something until it kind of wears out.
Right.
Just be a little careful. Just be a little wary of those things. There are many good people out there, but there's also a lot of hucksters too, so just be a little cautious. Yeah. So, now what are you selling?
What am I selling? Oh my god!
You got all kind of stuff that you guys are selling, all kind of team memorabilia and.
Yeah, so we.
I like the way I led into that, didn't I?
That was a very smooth transition.
Yeah, so I mean, because I don't make anything from the YouTube channel yet,
Right.
Like, because I'm not at that point, and I sell shirts and hoodies. That's it.
Yeah,
we have
I'm getting
different-
one of their because I like the design of the T. It does have a Ouija on the back of it. I do like the design of the
Yeah.
T-shirt, so I'm getting one of their shirts and that. If they're interested in any of your stuff, go up on your YouTube. Go ahead, give us your information.
Okay,
where you're
so
at.
the YouTube channel is Blood Moon Paranormal. Actually, everything is Blood Moon Paranormal. Just type that in, like Facebook, Instagram. It should be there. If you want a link for the YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/Blood Moon Paranormal. Real simple. I will shout out Mike Lowy for doing the designs for us, because he made the logo. He made all the designs for us. It's
good for him. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice.
he's-
Yeah, it's kind of eye catching. It's very nice. Yeah.
yeah. So he did all that. You want to shout out your?
Oh yeah, for Dark Tricks Photography, yeah. I sell prints. I sell prints of some locations that we have gone to. I sell merch. I have hoodies. I have shirts, stickers.
Oh, something separate now from Blood Moon. This is different.
Yeah. So,
So now,
she-
what is yours? I haven't seen your site.
I don't know how to describe it. Like my logo wise, my main logo is like. It's
No, not that.
Oh.
How do they get a hold of you if they want to see what you've got and all this? How do they?
Yeah, Facebook. Mainly Facebook. That's my main go-to. Dark Tricks Photography.
Dark Tricks?
Yes.
Dark Tricks.
Dark
Okay.
and then Space Tricks.
Tricks.
TRIX.
Okay, I'm going to have to look on yours
Yeah.
too. to write you down.
Our pages are pretty closely linked together. Usually if you scroll down a couple of posts, you'll see like the other page linked, like Blood Moon on mine and mine on Blood Moons and stuff. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
She
Yeah,
also
you got a lot of
offers-
stuff out there. Blood Moon, you got a lot of things out there. Yeah.
She also offers
Photography services.
yeah, so like you can hire her to do your photography and stuff like that.
okay.
She's
Yes.
a fantastic photographer. And
So
I'm
you
really happy to have her
do
on my
like
team.
you don't just photograph the paranormal stuff. You do like weddings.
Yeah,
and those type
yeah.
Of things. Oh, okay.
The
All right,
the
yeah.
first thing that really got me into it was, well, I took photography in high school, but I never really thought I would go into it. But I started going to concerts and stuff, and I really wanted to take like nice, crisp photos and all that while at these concerts, and that's how I mainly got into it, concert photography. And then it started branching into more like low lit photography, more dark atmosphere photography. And then I started to join with Blood Moon, and they needed a photographer, so that was kind of like a really good avenue to go in right there. I also really like the whole urbexing aspect of photography, like how I have like with all the like rundown looking and like the historical aspect of it.
All the
so-
character. To
Yes.
an old building in it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Good for you. Now, when you do like weddings and gatherings and stuff like that, everybody comes out looking like they're the Addams Family. Or the Munsters,
I
or-
wish no, no. It can be anything.
Yeah.
I'm very open to anything. I do like portrait shoots. I can do
Sure,
weddings.
you got to make a living too. Sure, yeah. So there you go.
graduations, whatever.
Dark Tricks Photography and Blood Moon Paranormal. Check out their sites and see all the stuff they got going on there too, and then check out their YouTube videos too and see what's going on. Yeah, find out a little more about the group. Know your paranormal investigator. We should have a show. Know your investigator. Know the person. You know. Now you know what would happen with that though. It would be like a who's who list. And there'd be a lot of people we'd have to blow the whistle on.
Oh no.
And I wouldn't want to do that. They, you know, my feeling is the phonies expose themselves. They do, you know. So
within time.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it comes around. It gets some, yeah. So
Yeah.
they expose themselves, so I don't have to say or do anything. You know, it comes back to bite them. Well, this has been fun.
Absolutely.
It's been fun.
No,
It's
thank
been
you.
informative. I learned
Yes.
stuff from you, especially about the Wiccan stuff and that. A lot.
Yes.
I really have to confess I didn't know anything about that, but fascinated by it. Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
And it's also good that you put the thing out there, and you, like you said, you sort of clarified a little bit too. It's not a bad thing. You know,
Yeah.
witches aren't, you know, they're not, you know, killing goats and, you know,
No,
bubbling
not
cauldrons with
the Hollywood
bat
thing. How
wings
you
and-
mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
stigma.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everybody knows this is what it is. So if there is something like this now, do you have a contact for that? So maybe someone is interested in this, if they want to, you know,
I mean, not
join
necessarily.
a coven
no.
or join or become a Wiccan practicing.
I mean, I can answer any questions, really. I mean, I have my personal Facebook. That's always open. You can
Because you know
always
what I'm
send a
saying? You may
message
have
and
people
stuff.
out there that want to do something like this, but they have
Yeah.
no idea how to contact and how do I go
How to
about
get
it?
into it,
Yeah, how do I
yeah.
get into this? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my inbox is always open to answer any questions or try to guide someone the right way. But yeah.
And that's Emily Fuschon. Fuch.
SEN.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you
Yeah.
go. Fuchsen. I always spell your name wrong. I spell it like fusion. Emily Fuschon and Mr. Zach Wenzel. It has been very enlightening. Thank you both.
Thank you for
What
having
a-
us.
yeah,
Yes.
no,
Thank you for having
wonderful.
us.
Oh, but just fantastic. Really enjoyed both of you. Nice people. Two really nice guys too. Like just a lot. You know, sometimes like when you meet somebody and it just sort of kind of clicks, and you can kind of tell. You know, that kind of thing like that. And you could tell, like, when I met you guys the first time, I said, they're nice folks. I kind of like them. They're kind of serious about this. I like what they're doing and that, and it's good. Yeah, it's great.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, come
Yes,
back anytime
thank
you'd
you.
like. I know it's a little drive for you because you're out in Elgin somewhere, aren't you? Or
Oh,
where
I'm
you
in
at?
Joliet. She's
Oh, Joliet. Yeah,
in
that's still a little.
Elmhurst, So
Yeah, that's a little drive. Yeah, to get out this way. So
I drive
yeah.
for a living. It's fine.
Yeah. You're all over the place. You actually do have a job. You
Yeah,
do.
no, I work for a title company.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I drive everywhere, 200 miles a day. So,
Jeez, Louise. And then if you just walk in the door, you get in the car and you drive all the way out here to come and do the radio show.
yeah,
Wow.
I don't care.
Well, good. And you're welcome to come back on anytime you'd like to, both of you. Really,
Thank
Definitely
you.
take you up on
Invitation's
that
open.
offer.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, the invitation's open. Come back anytime. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a joy.
absolutely.
Well, that's going to do it for tonight's show. We didn't do bad. We only ran just a couple minutes over. I thought we were going longer because it was going so nice there. Anything else you want to mention or anything before we sign out here?
No, just subscribe to Blood Moon Paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Follow Dark Tricks Photography on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
That's
there,
it.
there you have it, folks. Okay, thank you so much. It's been a joy. This show will be posted, of course, if you're listening to it, I don't have to tell you when it's going to be posted, but it usually takes him a couple of days to do them, and he'll have it posted. You can listen to it. Depends how busy John Shikanda is. Sometimes he takes a little longer. Usually he's pretty good about it, though, so it'll be up there, up and running. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, folks, for allowing me to do these shows. John DeVita, sir, thank you so much. It's always a privilege coming here, and you open up your home to us to do these shows. Thank you very much. Thank you, folks, for listening. Everybody get out there, enjoy the nice spring weather. Smell the flowers, enjoy the raindrops, all that fun stuff like that. While you're at it, look behind the tombstones and see if you see any ghosts. And thank you so much. Next show we'll be doing will be June 7th. And then taking a couple of months off in the summer, and then we'll be back in the fall doing it. So thank you, folks, for listening. Have a great evening, and God bless.
You have been listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Monday, May the 17th, the year 2021. Paranormal Radio was directed by John DeVita, and our special thanks to the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network is Mr. John Shikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Monday, May the 17th, the year 2021. Until next time, friends, please be safe and thanks for listening.